So this week I thought I would do job interviews and the type of questions you would normally get asked in a job interview. These questions I've been asked many times, but what I'm going to try to do here is give you a bit of a structure, give you an idea how to answer the questions. This isn't a hack or a cheat sheet of answers that you can give, because every single one of you have an individual experience, individual skill, and that's why there's not many resources out there to give you the perfect answer to interviews. So this is more to help you how to structure. You need to spend some time in the night before the interview or the day before the interview, however you've got time to do this, and actually think about your answers to these typical questions that you will be asked. Question one that you always get asked at the start of an interview, well, I seem to always get asked, is the question about tell me about yourself. Now there's some pitfalls and some traps with this question, because most people will start blurting out about how much they are dog walkers and they love cats and how they want to become the next Prime Minister or whoever it is. It's not what the question's asking about. It's asking about you and where you are in your time and kind of space and experience at the moment. So what you need to do is think about the present first of all. So what you're up to at the moment, who you're working for, what you're doing. Then think of the past, how you actually got there and what you achieved as you were getting there. And then think about the future. Now, when you think about the future, that actually is an opportunity for you to start thinking about the role that you're sat interviewing for and how that aligns with what you are looking for. Now, some of you are going for jobs because you need a job, but you still got to think about kind of the future, what that role can do, or what you can do for that role, and how your past and present experience aligns with that. Now, this kind of bit is going to be shorter than me telling you about it. So it needs to be, I don't know, probably about a minute, 2 minutes. Don't babble on. Keep it short and sweet, and just give the interviewer a snippet of kind of where you are right now, what you've been doing, and what you want into the future, or what you can bring to that company in the future as well. What are your greatest weaknesses? My God, I hate this question. In fact, I hate this question so much that I really hope that if I ever get asked this question in the future, I can answer it like this as well, actually. I've never really thought of it like this. When I was doing my research, all you find on the internet is people telling you to kind of pick a strength that you've got and turn it into a weakness. My favourite one I seem to get told a lot is organisational skills. I over-organise, or I'm always really, really early to meetings. I guess they're kind of weaknesses, but they're probably weaknesses you would like to say to people. The weaknesses you shouldn't be saying to people is, I'm really bad on the phone, or I've got really poor presenting skills, and you go in for a sales job. What you don't want to be doing is creating a weakness that is relevant for that job. You want to be creating a weakness is more of a character flaw, if anything, that you need to get over and kind of solve. But my favourite way of getting around this, actually, something I've learned quite recently, is pick a weakness from the past, one that you used to have, and how you self-developed, improved yourself to get around this weakness. Great example was when I first passed my test. There was a roundabout in the town that I was driving in, and for some reason I always used to stall on it. So to kind of stop myself from doing that, I went down to that roundabout every single day. Even though I was going the other direction, I still went down to that roundabout every day to stop myself from stalling. So I was aware that I was weak in this area and needed to improve myself. So think about those type of things that you've done in the past. Grammar, spelling, that type of stuff, and how you're improving yourself. You're reading more books, or you're using Grammarly a lot more. So think about those type of weaknesses and how you are adapting, improving, and showing you are capable of adapting, improving. Hope that gives you some ideas on how to approach that question. I hate it. Why should I hire you? This is the sales pitch moment. This is the moment where a lot of people will start going, oh crap, I have to sell myself. Everyone's really bad at it, and I don't know why. If you look up things like elevator pitch, how to pitch who you are, but the night before, the day before the interview, you're sitting there with your notepad, why should they hire you? And look at a way of talking about your current experience, your past experience, and what you and that experience can do for them. Remember, it's not about you, it's about them. What you can bring to the table, what you can do for them, so that they can then assess that you really want this job. You really want to sell yourself to them to have this job, but be kind of factual. Give skills, give experience, and give achievements that you have consistently done as well. Like you've hit sales every month for the last 10 years, if that's one of the achievements that you've achieved. But be factual and be focused upon the job and matching your skills, current skills and past skills and experience to that job and what you can do for them. And that's probably the best way to answer that question. But again, try to get that down to 2-3 minutes, maybe a little bit more. You can have a little bit more time on this question because it's an important question for them. So remember that. It's a strange question to have right in the middle of an interview or at the end of an interview, which is what are your salary expectations? Because as a recruiter, normally those expectations are kind of delivered before the interview. Normally people are interviewing people because the salary expectation written in the email I send tends to align with the job or is within a grouping of what the salary should be. So if you're in an interview and the salary expectation has never been mentioned, or you have mentioned it but no one's kind of addressed it yet, then think about a couple of things, okay? The first thing people do is they'll say, oh, I'm currently on 25,000, but I'm looking for 32,000. Stop saying that, I'm currently on 25,000. Start saying, I'm looking for 32,000. And then they'll say, could you tell me why you're looking for 32,000? Now, we're in a very strange time when it comes to salary. Salary is talked about in the media all the time. And the reason is, salary is stagnant. And if they know your current salary or they assume you're on a lot less, then the reason you're moving is because you haven't had a pay rise for a long time, or the reason you want to justify your salary expectation is because you haven't had a pay rise for a period of time. You've demonstrated your achievements, your skills in the part of the interview anyway, so you are justifying that value that you're looking for at the moment. So go strong, say that you are looking for X because that is, and then also do some market research on the actual value of your skills, your experience in that marketplace. Speak to people, speak to recruiters, get some idea from people across the kind of spectrum of recruitment. But, and this is a big but, you need to know what the expectation of the company is, what they're looking for. Because there's no point going in there looking for 32,000 when they're only willing to pay 25,000. So you need to make sure that you're both on the same page. Now, not all jobs will advertise salary for a multitude of reasons, but what you need to understand is hopefully you're in the right ballpark figure and hopefully they're able to pay what your expectation is. But if you are aware that the salary is 32k and you're going in at 38k, then you may be in for a nasty shot when you start talking about salary expectation and trying to justify it. Now, during some interviews, you will get asked a version or maybe competency-based questions. Now, I've done a video on this, which I'll try to reference in the comments or try to connect somewhere up here on YouTube. Now, competency-based questions is tell me about a time, example me a time, tell me about a time when you went and exceeded above and beyond. And basically what these questions are trying to do is get you to start thinking about a time and then trying to justify what happened in that time. What a lot of people don't do is tell a story. Beginning, introduce the characters, introduce what's going on, and introduce the scenario. And then the middle bit, what actually happened. And try to keep these stories down to a couple of minutes, by the way. Don't go on and on about it. But then the conclusion. What was solved, how it was solved, and where did you come in now? Because this question is not about other people, it's about you and how you solved and your part in that scenario. So try to make them very, very focused upon that. When I used to do a lot of competency-based questioning, when I used to work at Reed, we used to ask candidates a variety of different questions and kind of example what they were doing. What I always used to find is that people used to come to the table with very weak answers to this. Now, what I mean by weak answers, they didn't really pull from their experience and skills very strongly. So they've never ever thought about these competency-based questions. There's tons of them on the internet. Do some research and really, really think about the stories and prepare yourself. The last part to competency-based questions that everyone forgets to do, what did you learn from that situation and what did you take away with it? And what would you not do next time? that question will be asked, but have a really strong answer to that. And if you can example that you've learned from that for the next time, even better. So think about that with competency-based questions. But again, prepare the day before, the night before, wherever it is, spend some time preparing for these type of questions. And kind of to end all this, I know I try to keep my videos as short as possible so that people can watch them on the train to work or when they're stuck in the office or even in the evening. And interviews is such a long kind of thing to talk about. I mean, I've probably videoed this longer than most interviews have ever been asked. But what I need to kind of get across is where people fall down on interviews is preparation. The day before, the night before, as I keep saying, you need to sit down with a piece of paper, a notepad, and write some scenarios, write some questions that you will be asked, because it's not a secret. Interviews are not a secret. You know what you're going to be basically asked. The best interviews are the interviews that feel like a conversation. The worst interviews, I feel, the interviews are a bit like Claude from The Apprentice, where you've just been teeth pulled every 5 seconds out of your CV. Don't be that guy. Don't have your teeth pulled throughout an interview. It's a dentist interview. But what you need to be is the person that naturally patters about kind of what you've been doing, how you've been doing it, who you are, what you do, why you're there, and why they should hire you. So natural patter. And the only way you could do that is practice, and kind of think about the words that you're going to say and think about how you're going to come across to that hiring manager. This is really important to get right, because the more interviews that you keep failing and not learning from, the harder it is to get a job. And a lot of companies, and I hate to say this, a lot of companies base the reason they're hiring you is on that moment in time. It's horrible to say that. Sometimes it's not on the CV, it's on you and them, and how you sell yourself and how you put yourself across. Companies want confidence, they want people which are positive, and they want people that have a lot of self kind of understanding and develop themselves, but also knows how to ask for help when they need it. So think about these things when you're doing your preparation and dig deep into your past. We've all got some great experiences. I failed to find a person that hasn't had great experiences yet. Trust me, we've all got them. So I hope this helps. Please put some comments in the section below and like and share. Thank you very much for your time. Bye-bye. Why not check out thomaslee.co.uk for the latest jobs in engineering and technical sales across the UK? Or even, how about you check out our blogs and vlogs for the latest thoughts about recruitment and tips on how to find a job and how to find candidates as well.